I'm like, oh man.
Still shows him as a listener on mine. There it goes. Now he's been removed. Yeah.
Yo, I'm back. I fixed it.
Whoa, there he is.
Shout out to my boy ChatGPT. Came in hot without a undo what I did. So very cool. Anyway, how's the intro to the show? Shane, mic check. Cool. Still.
Do you not hear Shane?
Yeah, Shane, hop in the private Discord channel and we can just sort that out and move on with our lives.
That will work, actually. That's hilarious. You guys can just talk strictly to each other in there.
Leave out some voice activity and we're good.
Yeah. I just mute my mic in there and he can hear me
We
in here.
We're so smart, guys. It's like, screw you, Twitter. We're going to have a stream despite you. All right. So what's up with the boys? What's everyone doing? Mister, you always have something awesome to say. Let's put you on the spot right away.
I want to talk, but my 4-year-old's having a meltdown right now, so I'm kind of indisposed. So
no worries.
Just a second.
Are you talking about the globe? Is that what you said? No worries, man. That's awesome, though. Ken, are you ignoring my mic request on purpose because it's hurting my feelings? I don't know who the colliding panda is, but we're in a giving mood. If we're given one chance. Are you suggesting that pandas are real, though?
Sus.
Are you one of those?
Dude, I can't hear Panda Lad. What the heck?
Is he speaking?
I don't hear him either, so you might be good.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys were having a full-blown panda convo without me.
No worries, man. Of course not.
Do you remember that time Witsit tried to tell us that pandas were real and all that? Tried to socially shame us. It's crazy.
Yeah. What? There was see through that bull too.
He's been sus ever since.
Definitely a shill, dude.
Super sus. Think he works for Big Panda.
Dude, I have Jason in my IMs telling me how much of a shill he is constantly. So now that might make sense. Do you guys not get people who reach out to you personally to tell you all the things they think about Witsit, or is that just me?
Just you.
Well, be another thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not him, bro. Like, what do you do?
I've definitely been through once or twice at least.
They just feel like I'm close enough, right? You guys are proximity, just take my rage. But like, what?
I remember when Callie found out that I was a Witsit supporter a long time ago.
Oh, like give him $1 or something?
Yeah, like I was like a contributor or whatever, and he like lost his mind.
Dude, that guy, he's hanging around and just like vicious now. Like I don't even go because he gets me mad, and I'm pretty good at not getting mad, except if you were once my friend and now you're a twat. And then I seem to get mad, right? It's like, oh, I can't help it.
Well, yeah, that guy specifically like tried smearing you. I saw it firsthand. That was really odd. So
yeah, he still does that. That's not even like that part doesn't even bother me. I'm like, Glovers do that constantly. It only hurts because he was my boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Same. Yeah, he was like one of my first friends, quote unquote, within the he was like kind of fresh to it with me, so we were like buddies. We would talk to each other about different questions and stuff, but yeah, he's the one. Yep. He's the one. He's the only one that I truly say like, oh, there's an next flat earther. Every other one, like, yeah, it's all sus. I really have never met any other ones that I believe, but that guy seemed pretty legit about it, and I still think, I don't know. It's hard to tell what that guy thinks nowadays. It's like it's almost like he knows, but he's just too angry to accept it.
He's like, I don't care what the truth is. My whole life is about being opposite of Witsit now, so that's where I'm at, right?
Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, The Principal's a pretty good movie. Makes a lot of good points. I was like, oh, okay. So
that's still not retarded. I'm confused.
Anything but admitting Witsit's right, I guess. Whatever. Anyways. We don't need to talk about someone that's not here to defend themselves. It's just a strange story. It's a interesting situation.
I know. I'll make a Ruhif style infographic about it, and then we never have to talk about it again. Xavier, what you got going on, man?
Not much, man. Hey, shout out to that sun video you guys did. I think that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was because we didn't know that Cassander didn't show up to his presentation live, and we were like, "What do you guys want to do?" Nah, you got half a sun presentation. Let's just make that a stream. So that was super fun. It worked out well. And then I think I might have deleted it by accident when you were like, "Hey, where's that video?" And I was like, I see now there wasn't a duplicate. I just deleted it because Twitter faked me out again. My bad.
Oh no. You got a different one, I assume, for me or Alan?
Did you guys repost it? Is it still out there? Maybe I deleted that one by accident. I screwed something up.
You're talking about the stream from Tuesday?
Yeah, so I had reposted it as the Ether Boy Sun video, which is a repackage, and I cut off all the long intro as we were figuring what to do on my stream, essentially.
I gotcha.
I made that and uploaded, put it on Twitter. He was like, "Yeah," and then I think I deleted it. So he was like, "Hey, bro, like, where did it go?" I was like, watching it, and it's like it's gone. And I was like, good question.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a part in that video that I usually talk about. I didn't even know it was going to be part of the presentation until I saw it. Something that everybody could do if they ever head to the beach during sunset. That light that heads from the sun while it's setting towards your feet at the shore, that's personal for everybody. Like, you could have a group of friends and you guys could be spread out far from each other, and that light will be personal to everybody. So that kind of gives an indication that the sun is in an apparent position where you cannot triangulate towards it, like we're asked to do a lot.
Exactly. That's like one of the most influential videos ever, as far as I can tell. Like, I make my friends watch it all the time. I like, like when you send something to your friend and he didn't watch it, and you send it again, he didn't watch it, and then talk about it, and you're like, yeah, I can tell you didn't watch it. So the next time you're together, you're like, hey, look at my stream. And you make them watch it. Or maybe that's just what I do to get your friends to watch stuff because it would work on me. Anyway, I've done that to most people here.
It's the only way to get me to watch a video, to be fair. Like, if you link me a video, the chances I watch it are, like a superposition of nothing.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be like, "Oh, it's a great video."
Big time on the title. Big time. I mean, come on, let's be real, right? Like, if you send me a video that's like 30 dancing cats that can juggle on a unicycle, like, I'm definitely clicking on that. But if you send me like, I don't know, a bunch of rigorous math to spend all night doing or something, I don't know, I'm probably not gonna click on that.
I might.
Now, what you really want to do is put the rigorous math in the dancing cat thumbnail, and then I'll click on it.
Yeah, give it some meaning. Like, make the cat dance to the calculations,
Yo, Shade, your wobbly elbow meme that I hate? If you could do wobble cat, that would be, like, I would be on board with that.
You said elbow, but I think Elmo?
Elmo, elbow, same thing.
Yeah.
Your
whatever.
favorite.
My favorite. Yes, okay. Yep. And the triaxes of wobularity, I'm going to call them. It's soon to be quad axes of wobularity, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, the sun in its apparent position is a doozy, man. And like really familiarizing people with that concept. It's like, if you could just take someone and focus on how everything, everything's derived from the sky. And you're like, okay, is this a real object? Are we going to be able to triangulate this? Or is this going to produce beams that are just for us? Right? Are we all seeing it in a slightly different spot? And a good way that you could show that is that, you're going to see different or unique beams, for you, man. You are the physical mechanism, which you're the reason that you can see it in the first place, right? It's not just there doing something, like you're there interpreting it or whatever. And that beam is just for you. If you weren't there, there would be no beam to be seen.
Right. What a thing, dude. What a thing to realize and think of.
No beam to be seen.
Didn't do it on purpose, but that was a sick rhyme though, right, Beast?
It was tight.
What up, my fake Greek brother?
I've been working on freestyling and stuff. I haven't really been doing any freestyling, but I do have like a yellow legal pad and a pen. I just scribble shit down on it. And I take public transportation when I don't have to, and I just like sit by myself and I just scribble on it.
Perfect, bro. You're one step closer to looking schizophrenic. It's perfect.
Just got sick rhymes, dog.
Well, hey, and that thing that Xavier's talking about that line that comes, that line of light that comes from the sun to your feet, that's only possible on a flat surface. You can experiment with your own, you can take a ball and shine a light on it and you will not get that effect. Like you'll get an individual spot source of light. So, and I'm not going to say this. I'm just saying that the WWF, the World Wildlife Foundation, has a panda on the cover. So whatever that means to you.
Oh, dude, thank you.
There we go.
They know about the pandas. There's a reason why. I bet if you look closely, you'll see that the panda has a patch of fur that makes a 33. Why is that? Is that just a panda? Or is it huh?
It's black and white checkerboard floor.
Dude,
I knew that one's coming. Yeah, the black and white for sure.
Dude, why is the panda holding up the OK symbol like low key on the side?
Dude, when it has a patch over its eye, it's constantly one-eyeing you. You can't see that, bro?
Oh, dude, they're constantly one-eyeing and constantly throwing up the OK symbol. And they pee on themselves. They stand upside down and they piss on themselves. Just like, a normal animal would do. Like your cat or dog or nothing else you've ever seen in nature. Not even a kid will do that, dog. They can't do handstands. They will pee on themselves. Handstand? No.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. But if anyone hasn't seen that video that everyone keeps talking about, I'm going to put it in the Jumbotron right now. Look at that.
I'll be honest, I did not look into it because I don't give a fuck.
No, I put zero effort into my conclusions on this particular conspiracy.
Pandas. But if you guys care about pandas, hey, by all means, go look into it.
I put in almost an equal amount of effort, but I do think it's interesting, and the narrative about how they function in the wild is, suspicious to say the least.
We may or may not be changing the name to Panda Truth Cosmology.
There's been a big rift in the community. Like, is it ether? Is it real? Is it a unicorn? Buddy, panda is where we're at now, boys.
What are you guys wasting time on? Why does it matter, bro? Forget why the shape matters. Why the lie? Why do the pandas matter? That's where it's at.
Dude, between all these pandas and pineapples, I'm getting all fucked up here. You guys are just ruining my life. Dave and his pineapples, you guys and these pandas. What is real, you guys? Come on.
Dude, the pineapple one was a doozy.
Hey, speaking of what is real, you guys ever seen that channel, like people who think they live in a virtual reality called virtual stereographic reality or whatever, and they're like flat earthers, but they call all the rest of us shills constantly from their super well-funded infrastructure. Is anyone else know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I don't know their names, but I know
Wake Soul.
Yes, that's the one. Awakened Soul.
Yeah.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. JT sent me a video.
Awake Souls. Or whatever.
I don't think Peter can hear me, dude.
Yo,
Beasticles. Can you hop in Discord?
Can you hear Shane?
No.
If you hop in Discord real quick, I'll pull you in a channel so you could hear him.
Yeah, we have this workaround. Yeah, it's cool. We'll just do that.
Got to do a little Elon workaround. Just mute your mic while you're in the channel, and then because we can all hear you on here. Oh yeah, you're in. Oh yeah, you have a mod. Okay, you're good. All right. Anyway, continue. Proceed.
Fixed. But yeah, dude. So I saw that video of them, and JT sent it to me first because he was like, "Oh, they're talking about the Antarctica trip." But all I saw was all of their they encountered all the same problems that we encountered that we solved with like Ingenuity, Logic, and Etherwind. And they just went the complete other way against all these problems, railed hard, and was like, nah, life's a virtual reality. I'm not saying that you teleport per se, but when you go to this end of the map, have you ever played Asteroids? Like, this is their actual position. They interviewed this guy, and he was like, so you teleport from the left to the right? He's like, well, it's your word, teleport. But like, in how in Asteroids, you just disappear from the left and continue on the right at the same uniform velocity and vector. It's like exactly that. And I was like, oh my God, these people. And they're like, oh, by the way, every other flat earther is a psyop. Everyone else sucks but us. Only look at our stuff. And I was like, guys, you know what a psyop would do? You know what a psyop would look like from a 20,000K base, well sub, multi-member team that has polish? Okay, just saying. It's like you live in a virtual stereographic reality where shit Pac-Man's around you at all given time. Like, so they take the vision thing, the vision dome that we understand. They're like, so you know when you don't see the sun and we just think it's further away from you at other places on the giant flat Earth?
Yeah, that's when it hits the teleporter. That isn't a teleporter.
No. That's where it literally smushes itself into the ground, into some virtual reality thing that they don't quite understand because they zoom in on it with a P1000 and they see, like, say, a green flash sunset and the optical compression of the angles increasing bottom up as you would have to on a flat plane. And their conclusion from the exact same observation that we make and conclude logically that it's, angular resolution limit and optics and horizon things that make sense. They're like, nah. What's happening is we live in a virtual reality and the sun is smushing into the ground for each observer. So dude, like they got half the truth, right?
Dude, that's low-key kind of dope. Shout out to those guys. Yeah, they're just like, it just merges into the ground.
That's sick. Talking about awake souls right now?
So yeah. So you know how I said yesterday during the sun video, I straight up said how we can't triangulate it, and that's what I think is their strongest position. Like they encountered the same problem and they're like, nah. What it is there's no sun. It's just personal for everyone, and then it smushes into the ground when you don't see it. That's their position. And I'm like, oh, it's so close, guys. You had it, and you went fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
The old ground sun. Yeah, I'm not super. Like I don't watch those guys. They came on Globebusters a while ago, and it wasn't like a good experience. So I just kind of checked out on them.
Yeah, I'm like sub to them, like from a while back, and I just keep seeing like, Witsit, Flat Earth, PSYOP, Final Experiment, Will Duffy, blah blah blah. I just keep seeing it, and it's just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yep, I watched a little bit of it inadvertently today, so I'm giving you the lowdown. And my ultimate impression was, JT, can you get me on the show with these guys? And he's like, from which perspective? He's like, you trying to help them out or decimate them? I was like, oh, decimate, but nicely. I would like to refute each and every one of their tenets if I could.
Yeah. Dude, GL with that.
Yeah, because I think that they're clearly the psyop. So they just like, dude, like it's like, you know how you tell? It's like who's projecting hard. What does that mean? Okay, well, who's standing in the center of the town on a soapbox calling everybody else a shill? Those guys. Yeah, that's probably your shill guy. Right there.
Yeah,
nailed it.
Yeah, that or just desperate for attention. But yeah,
I think it's more what Toby said. To be honest with you, I just think there are a couple of bros that are just broing out, just broing a little too hard.
They also say they have this model which they stole from the timeanddate.com day, which is the sun count thing, and they like say hard that it's their model. And I don't know if they like made a copy or took the code or if they just decided that it was theirs now. So there was some discrepancy on that I was kind of laughing about.
Yo, Beast, your mic's going off a little bit in the back, buddy.
Oh, is it bad?
No, but it's just
mildly annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what Shane said.
It's not. We'd rather you didn't, though.
What does it sound like? Like breathing?
Well, no. It sounds fine when you talk. It's just like it sounds like you're typing or a cat meowing or whatever. I don't know.
Playing Overwatch deathmatch. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Oh yeah, it sounds like your KDR is shit right now, and you should just leave the lobby because you're actually holding everyone back.
Fuck, you're right.
Hey, Alan, I wanted to ask you. I think it was you. Because this is kind of similar ballpark, not the same people, but was it you that had spoke with Dell about how he's got this idea that density and buoyancy ceases to exist while in free fall, and that indicates that we're moving upwards in some sort of magnetic, like I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on all that, because I think it was you that spoke with him, wasn't it? I know Witsit got in an argument with him about it, but
spoke with him. I spoke with him briefly on it on Flat Earth Friday. But yeah, there's an equivalence for like if you don't have a downward vector, right? Like if you're just like stationary Earth, nothing, if things go down because of density buoyancy or whatever, right? Well, then you'll get into a situation where when something's in free fall, like stratification inside of the inside of the thing that's falling ceases temporarily, or at least that's what we can tell. Like, we haven't measured it with lasers or anything, but for all intents and purposes, seems to cease temporarily. So while that's happening, to explain that, you could say, okay, the Earth's accelerating upward, or if you have the downward bias from the electrostatic gradient, you would say that that's providing the bias to for density and buoyancy to sort everything out, because without the mechanism to provide the bias up or down, and then for his position, the down would be going up to provide the mechanism, which is a little backwards, but it's the positions would be equivalent. Where it would differ would be when you get into, interferometry measurements like gravitometers and stuff like that. So, and actually I was thinking about this recently. I had an argument against them, which was that vertical interferometry would prove definitively that the Earth is stationary, right? Because c plus minus v. But the way that actually works, it's not that the speed of light is moving faster. It's you're measuring it faster proportional to, your velocity or whatever, but it has its fixed speed within its own reference frame. So what that would mean was, is if the Earth was accelerating upwards versus a downward etheric pressure, the reading in the fringe displacement would be the same. So they would be the same on that too. So where the real definitive mark would be gravitometers, where there's variations, because if it's not a uniform acceleration, then the causal mechanism can't be a uniform upward acceleration, right? So if there's variance there, which there is, then that would rule out that being the causal mechanism. But if you ignore some stuff and just kind of look at it from a basic level, you can definitely say that the positions are equivalent if you don't have a mechanism for the downward bias in the first place.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought was from the beginning of listening to him, because Dell was, one of the original kind of flat earth proponents back in the day in 2015, whatever. And I remember, and so when he came out with this, but my thought was that it's not a constant, whatever acceleration. I can't remember the exact number, 9 point something 8 meters per second or something. Like, not everything falls at that rate. And so if he's holding on to that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a combination of that and ignoring the dynamic, like the electrostatic gradient, right? Because I heard him and Whitsitt argue it to completion, really. And the deciding factor, right, is you would have to leave the system to see it being accelerated upward to definitively tell the difference between the Earth accelerating upward or stationary Earth with downward acceleration due to or provided by the electrostatic gradient. And he's just ignoring the electrostatic gradient to say, to maintain the position of upward acceleration. And it's well, we don't have to do that. We have the mechanism, we have the laws of physics, which are derived from a stationary non-rotating frame. So, I think he's just kind of lost in the sauce in it.
Yeah, he's been stuck on it for a while.
Because
he won't let it go.
Yeah, because on a surface level, it appears correct, right? But then but then it's okay. So you'd have to get into, you're in a similar situation where the heliocentrism are saying that the universe is infinitely expanding. So we're infinitely accelerating up. It's just what? Well, where do we get the energy? What's doing it? And it's I don't know, but it's doing it.
Well, how does he explain sidereal rotation on top of that?
It wouldn't be accelerating in their model. It would be a constant speed.
Yeah, but it's is the sky also corkscrewing up with the Earth?
Yeah, he's claiming that it's all connected. It's all one thing, and basically, he only showed it once or twice, and it was the only time that it ever made sense to me. But basically, the same thing as where you see quantum locking with magnets and things in perpetual motion. He basically puts a magnet through a coil, and it would seemingly be moving in a circular direction, but if you were inside of it, it would feel like you're constantly moving up, even if it was. So he just had some basic concepts of how it could possibly work. He's only shown it once or twice, so most of the time his argument sounds kind of just ridiculous, but unless you know that, you don't really know what he's talking about.
Hmm.
And like, what if that was your singular claim to fame? It's like, oh, I got a little attention. What if I just milk this forever?
Yeah, there's a lot of assumptions though.
Well,
that have to be made with that.
I think you guys are being unfair. It's a discussion that is, I think, a good discussion about relative motion. And like, they're not. It's not like they're trying to. I mean, maybe they're trying to cause confusion, but when he first brought it up, I mean, like, I had a great discussion that night. The first time we explored this topic. Like, I think it's a good point to make that, like, we shouldn't we shouldn't jump onto this and, give up the inertial frame that we exist in, but we need to be honest about the discussion. And I mean, it's an interesting model, in my opinion. Can't really prove it or disprove it, but
I agree. I don't think he's trying to cause division. I genuinely think he believes, based on what he said, that his defining crux notion is that if there's a directional vector of acceleration, then that necessitates something pushing on something, and that's what causes motion, he believes. So I think that core, I mean, there's validity to that statement, but then again, you have to extrapolate that to a constantly upward moving Earth. Is God doing a Superman? And but like, this is the first time I'm hearing of a corkscrew type of apparatus. So I'd have to see it to see what he's talking about. But I do think he is genuine, as Toby said.
I think he's genuine too. It's just I'm trying to wrap my head around his entire model.
Well, I mean, you think about, okay, so you have interferometry does show the downward vector, and then it also shows the lateral vector.
What's up, nerds?
I mean, that could theoretically play into that corkscrew thing, or something, some kind of perpetual motion. I mean, I'm not saying it's the model I would adopt, but it's to me, there is some sense to that.
Yeah, I would agree. That's why I've, kind of entertained it and listened to him. I really wanted to understand his point, because, and what's odd about it too, and this is completely anecdotal, but since he's started talking about it, the Flat Earth Society website has removed the upward moving idea from their claimed model. So, which is really strange.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So since he's really been pushing the idea, and it's kind of, I'm sure he has a bigger group of people in Europe that kind of follow him in that. He's definitely sincere. He's genuine, and he believes what he believes about it. And the evidence that he shows is that we have, water settles to the bottom of things, and that does that with, in his experiments. But if you watch it, he'll explain it, but it's very few and far between. Most of it, it's him just, calling people like Nathan Oakley out, and, because he's gotten in a lot of shit for just telling the truth, that this is what he's finding. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, curious to me. Like,
what I like? I like his theory about the rapture. He's saying, like, it would make sense if the Earth was moving upward, and like, if the rapture happened, then the Earth would stop moving and we would all float up, which would be interesting. It's just an interesting theory to think about. But
I have not heard him say that, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely think it's good that these discussions are being had and out there. I mean, we're just ultimately trying to find the truth of everything, right? Like, isn't that bottom line why we're all here?
Yeah,
for sure. And how are you gonna how are you gonna iron the theories out without putting them up against each other?
That's why we're here, and not even all of us, to be honest, with the genuine ambition of truth seeking to find, the actual truth. It's definitely not the goal of our opponents, and it may not be the goal of all of our side either.
Hey, I got a question about that. I mean, it's interesting that you said that he brought that up, because the fact that if the Earth stopped rising up, we would continuously rise, and that would simulate a rapture. But my thing is, um, his view of what's falling is deceleration, right? So the rising Earth is in constant motion. You let go of an object, that object is decelerating towards the ground because the Earth is rising up. So deceleration, and his example, sometimes he uses a race car that's connected to another car behind it via bumper. Remove the car that's being pushed forward, that's in neutral. Remove the bar, and the car decelerates towards the car behind it. But the as Toby brought up once, the track is causing friction for deceleration. If you were to jump out of the car, the air resistance would cause deceleration. So I don't see how he would have both notions simultaneously, where if the Earth stopped, you would continuously rise. I guess that would work, but
To be fair,
why wouldn't it decelerate after the energy that you transferred from the rising objects? Why wouldn't that eventually slow down? Why would it continuously rise? Would be my question to him.
right? But to be fair, I did hear it from a secondary source who supports Dell's theories wholeheartedly. His name's Spunky Monkey, I believe his name is. So that's who told me it. So to be fair, I'm not sure if that's what he actually thinks.
Yeah, you can't trust pandas or spunky monkeys. I found so.
I use them like.
Yeah, I've only heard him say that it would be just chaotic without it. That basically matter would, basically fall apart because it has to have, what is it? He says that something. I don't even want to try and attempt it. It's something about movement is the cause of energy or something. That of all. So that you have to have motion to be able to cause. I don't know. You just
I think it says an antecedent to a directional vector is motion.
Yes, that's right. There you go. Thank you.
Wait, so the antecedent to directional vector is motion? The antecedent to directional.
I mean, it's almost saying the same thing because something that's traveling in a directional vector is moving. I mean, maybe he means to say push, like something needs to be pushed to move. Maybe that'll be more efficient, be more refined way to say it. But either way, it still doesn't answer the people floating up constantly if the Earth stopped rising, because the energy transfer isn't infinite, isn't like the globe Earth model where they say infinite mass will travel infinitely or something like that. I forget what the saying is, but the deceleration is happening because of the rising Earth. So if the Earth stopped, I don't see why it would be infinitely floating, because there's no reason for deceleration then. Why is there deceleration? The deceleration would be the difference in speed, I would think, of the things rising. But I don't know. It throws a monkey wrench in everything by having people constantly float upwards for the rapture, if that's even his idea, like you said.
Well, just the thing about relative motion, like the one thing that again that I just can't understand is that we accelerate towards the ground. Things accelerate towards the ground. Um, it's not just like a constant motion of falling, right? Like if I were to step off a cliff, right? Eventually, you would think that um, you wouldn't stop moving or you would float in the air for a second, right? Because of relative motion, you're going the same speed as the Earth, technically at that moment, right? And so you should float for a second before actually falling down, and it's the exact opposite. You would go down at an accelerated rate towards the ground, like if you went off a cliff. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not wording it right, but I just can't wrap my mind around it.
No, it is a good thought experiment, though. I wish there was less of an accent for me to, grasp what he's saying sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Gotta up your Scottish game, boys.
Directional motion. So directional vector. Be fucking stupid.
Yeah, I also wish he wouldn't get so emotional. That actually frustrates me a lot.
Nah, I actually like when he's being in the chat. You fucking cunts. You don't understand, you fucking cunts.
Yeah, he's got some sketches on his channel, or maybe they're on like another channel now. I can't remember if he had like an alt channel like Beyond the Curve 2 or whatever. But anyway, he used to do some sketches back in the day that were hilarious too, if anyone's ever seen those. Or he had one where he was like a contractor or something, doing some work on someone's kitchen. And he's like, measuring the lights in the sky to try and figure out how to tile the floor. Just stuff like just stuff like that. And there was this one scene I remember distinctly, man. It was such a good bit. It was the guy that was picking him up to take him to the kitchen job. He's like, "Hey, help me navigate here." He was like, "We need to get to, so-and-so street." And then the camera cuts to Dell. He's sitting in the car, holding a fucking globe. Like you navigate, like you street navigate with a globe.
That's awesome, bro.
Dude, it was one of the best sketches I've ever seen. It was so funny. I'll never forget that. I laughed so hard I cried. Like, and like in England, they have those tiny cars or whatever, and Dell's huge. So you just see this giant dude hunched over with this little tiny globe, and it's just like, dude, it was epic.
It's hilarious. How else are you going to figure out where you're going if you didn't account for the curve?
Well, we know those distances aren't going to line up, so we got to bring that globe with us.
Yeah, the old celestial derivation from the graticule. Yes. Yes. The old graticule in the sky.
That's Tiny and Sky Demon. Did you guys see how we clown that dude who was like, stupid Christians and the Sky Daddy? Look at these people who believe in God. And I was like, bro, you believe in Einsteinian sky demons mathematically abstracted from nothing to intimidate you into non-science-based belief. Like, don't throw stones, homie.
My Sky Daddy comes with field equations that describe the universe at all scale structures. What does your Sky Daddy do? Oh, your Sky Daddy wrote you a little book? Oh,
is that what we need? We just need some resurrection field equations, and all these atheists will flip over.
Dude, that's what the lambda is, dude. That cold dark matter. That's that cold dark resurrection.
There's whatever religion gets the best math first is who's going to win all the atheists over.
Mathematicism.
Sure, you can math out some.
It's like, oh, what's that? Well, not only do I believe anything that I calculate, I'm also retarded. It's like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Oh man, I can't hear you on Twitter, but I can hear you on my stream with everybody else here.
Kind of it's an interesting thought. That's
I'm
exactly why we got to so many people that want to believe in simulation theory nowadays, right? Because it's like all based on that premise of like, oh, it can be calculated, so
yeah,
it must be.
Dude, get simmed up. And you know what?
I see them.
I'm sorry, real quick though. Is the globularist lads? Because one time I fell into this trap before we had the ASCII grid and the appearance and all that, and like that understanding. I got hit with, well, the only thing that would work on a flat Earth is if it is this flat Earth simulation, because we know the sun's 93 million miles and we can triangulate it to its physical location, and the only way that you could have a sun is it's as if it's an apparent object and not real. And it's like, well, funny you mentioned that, dude. Because it turns out it's not real in either model. You just think it's real.
Right? And it's like you solve this, you call it a triangle, right? Where one length is, say, infinity. You're gonna make it like the number infinity. You're just gonna draw a symbol. You're gonna be like, this is the length, and it works, and that's why we have an angle, and that's why all our things are triangulatable, you dummy. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yo, JT, you can jump in, dog. Like I actually forgot to set a list or whatever. So it's a full free. It's a full Mexican shootout right now. Whoever goes first wins.
Also, could you guys all invite Pizio? I'm trying but failing.
Yeah, I sent Pizio invites.
You can drop down if it helps.
It doesn't.
You see me? Or can you hear me, boys?
Yes.
Yeah, there
Wait,
he
are you on
is.
Discord? No,
Finally.
he's really here.
Nice.
My goodness, dude.
Instead of talking to my Discord.
Why is Twitter so difficult sometimes?
Oh, because we're all spreading truth, and Twitter is adverse to that naturally.
Hey, before Pizio hops in, whatever he was going to say, I didn't grab the mic because I've missed a lot of it. I have the kids solo tonight, just got them down. I did hear you talking about Dell. That's when I popped in. And I was wondering, have you already talked about, or has it been discussed or asked, William on the level is pushing almost the same exact thing Dell is, and he speaks pretty eloquently. Has anybody reached out to William on the level to see about having him on to talk it all out?
No, not familiar with William on the level, actually.
Yeah, I found him a while ago. He had some really cool, street activism on campuses and such. And he and his wife, or girlfriend, I think wife, were doing things like just people walking up to a table. Let me ask you some simple questions. He has these little pictures to get the mind kind of opened and rolling before he brings, stationary topographical plane Earth on them. But next thing you know, he was talking the upward rising Earth thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if he and Dell are buddies. But he also did an interview. Whenever Dubay started interviewing people again, there's a pretty good interview with William on the level. So you can look him up, see what you think, and maybe be able to talk this stuff out without the accent.
Is he maybe less emotional?
He seems pretty chill to me. I mean, like really based.
That's cool.
So check him out. But then, yeah, Pizio, if he has been fighting to get audio to work on X, go for it, man. I want to see what you have to say.
Yo, what's up, Boston? To be honest, I was just trying to get it to work. Like, I wasn't even able to.
Didn't have anything to say, and I'm a follow-up.
I wasn't even able to like really plug in fully to the conversation, dude. Like, I'm over here trying to fix everything. I finally got it to work.
Great. You didn't bring your required presentation, and also you didn't watch my entire library to bring your book of solid recommendations.
No, Shane, I did not spend 18 hours before I joined this space watching your videos, but yes, I will watch some of them when you come out with the energy topics. The maps, dude, are so like important for this community, but I looked at maps for like 4 years, bro. I'm on trying to do things pertaining to my field of study.
Do dishes on cosmography. Like, what?
No, bro, it's an important topic. It's just that I can't. I've had so much of it in the past.
Yeah, dog shittery, right? Pizio? Up top.
Down low. Too slow.
Bro, you're all in Discord, so you can hear this.
Not me.
Oh, except for Alan.
GG.
Not me.
Toby's not there.
Respect.
All right.
I mean, the stuff about the photon, I could share that with y'all. I guess I don't know if you want to hear that, but
you got some photonic information for us, brother? Hold on.
Well, it's just
Pizio is reporting in from the photon. Go ahead, Pizio.
Ooh, I like it.
Well, I have a thought experiment. Okay, just think about this for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna portray to you a mainstream depiction of a photon, and then we're gonna determine if that makes sense or if something else would most likely make a lot more sense and not require mysticism. So you have what they call a light quanta, or a quanta of light. It literally just means, quantum just means it can be quantized. It can be assigned a number space that's going to not be zero and is going to be real numbers. This is going to define its momentum, energy, velocity vector, etc. Now for photons, it's going to be c for the speed. But anyways, these photons are said to be point particles, meaning that they don't exist in any physical space that you can measure. They're literally infinitely small. The reason that they are point particles is because when you look on the graph, after you plot the data of these photons, when you quantize them, you express them as points. So a point in numerics, when translated into physicality, can have no definite volume. It has to be a point in reality as well. That creates problems in a continuous function, such as a wave. You have a detector. Imagine for a moment a light stream comes to the detector, and it picks up and registers a sine wave on your analog oscilloscope. All right. That is a continuous waveform. There is not a gap anywhere in that line drawing the sine wave. It flows continuously from end to end. In order to create a continuous waveform with things that are points, how many points can you put between 0 and 1, my friend Alan?
As many as you want.
Infinitely many points.
Infinite. Oh, here to be put to it.
So here's the thing. If you want to draw a continuous line with points, it takes an infinity of them. So when I measure the energy of this photon across 1 second, in order to get a continuous stream, I need infinity photons. But wait, anyone know math about 0 and infinity? If every photon has a non-zero energy, which it does according to the definition of a photon, then every single stream of photons in the universe should have an infinite energy. Is that what we observed, my friend Alan?
I've never seen infinite energy in my life, and I'm told that if I even believe in infinite energy, I'm a retard.
Yeah, if I have a infinity energy flashlight, bro, y'all better watch out because we're gonna have some fun with that one. There's no such thing as infinite energy, obviously. So how can a photon, which is a point particle, which can't create an infinite or a continuous stream without infinite points creating infinite energy, how can a photon be real then? Or here's the second idea. Let's try this one on for size. What a photon is describing is when you do all this math to calculate a wave and transform it into a bunch of points. The photon is at the energy at some point along a graph. But physically expressed, we have a waveform. What the photon would be, you have the E equals hv function. That formula says that E, the energy of a photon, equals h, which is Planck's constant, times v, or f, depending on how you have it written, which is the frequency of the wave. Let's say that I have a wave that's 10 hertz. That means that within 1 second, 10 wave fronts will smack against the detector. That is a frequency of 10 hertz. H is going to be the amount of energy that is present in each of those wave fronts, such that with this energy relation, I can calculate the total amount of energy in a waveform per unit length because I can multiply H by F. So if I know that there are 10 wavefronts, I get 10 H's worth of energy in 1 second. This is the formula for E equals HF. It does the same exact math, comes up with the same exact results, but it depicts a physical picture of something that is materially real, which can carry actual energy. Now, if you think about the rest of the math, though, they have experiments which have been done for over 100 years, showing something known as the photoelectric effect. This is when a radiant light source emitting what they would say are photons towards a metal at a high enough frequency will eject electrons out of the body of the metal. This energetic reaction has been studied, and we know that it is not dependent, its activation process is not dependent upon the amount of energy in the wave, but rather upon the frequency of the wave. Now, the photon boys, the particle lads, they would say that it's dependent upon the energy of a photon because the equation is E equals HF. Of course, what is energy dependent upon? Frequency, of course. So if frequency was the dependent variable, then that would mean that in either case we'd get the same result. Because in the wave function, this is what it physically means. It means that since we know there's a proportionality, or an inverse proportionality, I should say, between frequency and wavelength. As the frequency increases and the frequency goes up, the wavelength shortens, and vice versa. Something about the material properties of light causes the waveform to physically autocorrect. As the width gets shorter, the height gets taller, and vice versa. This physical energy in this wave is only able to travel into an electron if it has a wavelength that is short enough to overcome the gaps created with barriers by moving electrons that are oscillating back and forth, creating a time-dependent barrier. And when the frequency is high enough so that the wavelength is short enough, then it's a very skinny wave, and it is able to slip in through the space within enough time to get inside of the atoms or the molecules. By being able to get inside, then the energy can build towards work in an energetic reaction that releases an electron when the bonds in the molecule are broken. But they can only be broken if the energy is able to get inside and get to the bonds. So when that happens, that releases and ejects an electron out, and that's what creates the photoelectric effect as explained by waves. Photons are retarded. The end.
That's what explains photons according to waves.
Nice.
Dude, that was a truth gravy sermon. Thank you.
You got that recorded, right?
Very nice.
Absolutely.
It gave you a golf clap in Discord, but no one else could hear it. But that's okay.
Appreciate
I
it,
actually
boys.
heard it. Yeah, it was cool.
We do Twitter emotes around here, son. You gotta do
shit.
you gotta hit those up.
Oh wow.
You gotta give them. You gotta keep it 100, and then you gotta keep it
100?
purple
Okay.
hearts for much love, right?
Okay,
And then you hit them
alright,
with
cool.
a little teardrop to let them know that you're you'll shed a tear for them
sad?
because you miss
Okay.
him because he's not in like a gay way, but just whatever. And then you're
It's a little bit gay.
shocked or whatever. I don't know. I'm just
Does this
reading
mean
all the emotes now.
revolution?
Yeah,
What does this mean?
I don't know. Anyway, so we've got
Is this
hands.
Communist Manifesto right here? Hold on.
Yes.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
the
Okay,
purple
cool.
heart is definitely gay.
Yeah, dude,
in case-
We got to trigger the light revolution, lads. We got to get these people out here in these spaces that work with light every day. They know that experientially light is a wave. Why is there such a stranglehold upon the narrative around how we describe light phenomenologically and descriptively? But we need explanatory power because points on a graph aren't real in reality. They don't have explanatory power. Our current theory of light in the mainstream is merely descriptive and sometimes phenomenological.
Dude, what if we had like the mainstream try to describe to the public in general terms, non-science jargon, basic English, what they think light is in the phenomenon that light explains it. Then we'll have like an etheric lad, I don't know, maybe some dude named Austin present like a similar etheric understanding for the same phenomenon in light, and then see like let the public decide which one they think is retarded.
There's so many definitions of light, though. That's great. Like
One
so
thing
many
I know
things
is that
fit.
it's not photons.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
No. Not a little.
Yeah, definitely not photons.
Dang it! I had my money on photons.
So like light travels, dude. We know this because like science. So like
It propagates. It doesn't travel.
Oh. So are you saying that it was like already there?
I'm saying that the mechanism by which its propagation is affected was already present because it's a perturbance of a medium.
No. Do you ever heard of like an airsoft gun? Those little BBs that come with.
Have you ever played pool? Little billiard balls?
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen the Vulcan miniguns on the U.S. Navy ships that fire like 1,000,000 rounds per millisecond?
Easier analogy. You ever heard of a Nerf gun with the balls?
You ever seen
They just
Rambo?
fire a continuous stream of little BBs that are so close together that it's basically like a line.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, I've never seen those.
Well, yeah, you have every time you see anything.
Dude, anytime anything, anytime your eyes are open.
Duh.
Yeah, we needed the duh.
Yeah, so tell me, isn't momentum mass times velocity? I guess I must have missed something because, the past like 6,000 years of physics has, told me that, momentum equals mass times velocity. But
You're telling me that if someone was shooting you in the eyes with airsoft BB guns all the time, that you would feel it?
well, no, what I'm saying is if a photon doesn't have mass, how does it have momentum?
Well, that is kind of what you're saying, but yeah.
The quantized energy of Planck's constant is the representation of the momentum.
Oh, we're just gonna actually, for the one time that it matters, we're actually gonna describe that as a wave, and we're gonna say that you can have momentum in a waveform. Because a wave has equivalent mass.
Not only that, but it's directly proportional to the energy we're trying to attribute to it.
So actually, the one time that we need to use a wave to describe our point particle, we're going to treat it as a wave, even though it's not a wave. It's just a point particle, but we're just going to borrow your math anyway.
And then we're going to dice it up real nice. We're going to dice.
Imagine thinking that mass times velocity equals momentum can apply to a massless object.
Dude, it makes total sense. That's how Newton's law of gravitation applies to all of gravity, and there's no mass in that bitch either. So,
well, I know it sounds crazy, but Michelson Morley debunked the ether, man. They made their ether pherometer. They went to go detect some ether, and they didn't detect any, man.
Their ether pherometer.
Bro, can you imagine? let me take you through a much shorter, much sadder.
Can you show Michelson a jar of ether, bro? No, it's over.
Imagine spending 12 years and accruing $400,000 in debt to get a PhD in particle physics from a prestigious university, and then spending another 10 years of your life trying to study these little particles just by turning a machine on and reading what comes on the screen and assuming it's particles. And then that you look back after 20 years of doing all this and you realize that some people who didn't spend a single dime to take on a single bit of debt to go to school and didn't need to be indoctrinated.
Schooled you online and Twitter. And
just showed you how retarded your entire life's work is and how everything you do has no actual meaning in physicality. It only has predictive power in abstraction.
Doesn't that explain someone we know perfectly? I forget his name.
Never met her. But yeah, that's crazy, man.
Imagine when that realization sweeps through your mind and you have the immediate urge to deny it, right? Imagine how much that hurts and how sad that is.
Yeah,
I try not to. That'd be very emotionally crippling.
At the same time, it's everyone's job to unindoctrinate yourself. Stop being retarded.
Yeah. And then because you're so sad about how sad you are, then you go online and you obsess over people who are simply telling people ideas that actually make sense because it makes you insecure that your paradigm can be made to sound so retarded. Right? But you don't have any other alternative to believe in because this is what you spent your whole life working towards. And there's no better alternative that can explain these things better than the one that you have, which we just showed is retarded. So now you can do nothing but sit there and be upset.
That is a precarious circumstance to be in.
You know what it is? It's like when he gets word salated, which is, defined, of course, by when someone uses really, eloquent words quickly, but makes your feels uncomfortable and makes you feel inadequate. Then, all the indoctrination that you just paid for, it kind of doesn't sub. You're like, how did this douche on the internet make me feel so bad?
Now we're going to go from sad to sad squared. That realization, now that they do the weird compulsive thing where they be up in your comments and DMs and lurking on you in your chats, but never interacting with you most of the time.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
Or the few that do that are just, the people I described with the PhDs. Imagine doing all that, but actually knowing deep down in your heart that your paradigm is retarded and it's not based on material reality. It's just a bunch of abstractions.
Right, because you are smart and we made sense and you were like,
but you have to deny it because there's no way that you could live with yourself if you acknowledged it publicly and had to admit your whole life's a lie. So therefore you're just forced to just defend something that is retarded. And no
And
wonder they're so
virtual
salty.
photons.
No wonder they're so salty.
Dude, I'd be pissed if I had to defend virtual
It makes
photons.
perfect psychological sense.
You guys say all that like Osama bin Laden wasn't behind 9/11.
Right.
I know. I seen the video of him right after the towers went down. So how do you explain that then, Pizio?
CNN had him on like that day.
So all the news agencies would be in on it, dude.
They were wrong. Get out of here.
All right. But anyway. Yeah. So let's see here.
Can you guys see Liliana's hand? Because she's had it up for quite a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what's going on with Liliana over there? I see you got your hand up.
Liliana, you don't need to put your hand up. You're the ambassador. Also, could you add to your profile official ambassador of Flat Earth or something like eloquent?
Official ambassador.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, hi. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I need to figure out how to do that. I'll try to figure that out. I'm so retarded technologically. Yeah. Oh, no. You know what? You guys never have to think about I've had my hand up for long, because I was really enjoying this conversation, and you guys just have a natural conversation, and there's never a hurry for me to talk. Just so you know.
Same time.
Oh yeah. So there's actually 3 little things I wanted to talk about, and one of them was that, you know, you guys were earlier. You were talking about how we each of us view the sun, and it's like almost like a personal. We all view the sun in a very personal way. Is that correct? So you guys were talking about that, right? And it got me thinking, and anyways, just based on all the Vedic cosmology or whatnot, you know, but I was kind of speculating that, you know, if there are some kind of ionized gas domes that are basically transparent to our eyes, but any object that is shining above those layers, which would be dome shaped, I would think, because I believe that the firmament is dome shaped. But anyways, and so I think that if those ionized layers of like those domes in layers, you know, of these ionized gases, if they have like some kind of like vapors of various minerals or metals or whatever, like maybe they have the capacity to reflect and also kind of when you refract, what's the word? Oh darn! What did Newton have? That prism. What does a prism do? It refracts light, right?
Diffracts.
Gotta get all the terminology mixed. Huh?
Diffracts.
Anyway,
yep.
So you know what I'm talking. Yeah. So maybe those layers of whatever those exotic gases are that might have vapors of various, as I said, crystalline minerals or metals or whatever, and they act like these reflectors. And so maybe what they do, so maybe the sun that we're seeing is not directly like that actual light. There might be like this light really high up, and it's probably like in a more central kind of a position, and it's maybe, you know, shining super brightly, and it might be big, but then by the time it comes through all these layers of these domes, of these, you know, exotic ionized gases, just diffracts or refracts. I can't remember all these terms, but you know, it just sort of like it up almost like how you would see on a faceted stone, like you would see all these little facets of light. So maybe in some way, and that's why each one of us is literally looking at our own personal sun. And it might be this, you know, it might be that it's just that one body that is way at the top. By the time it comes to all these layers and has, you know, created all these other like smaller versions of itself, right? So like it's like looking at the sun in in a stone that has a lot of facets, you know, like a gemstone.
A
And you'll see all
multifaceted
these
personal.
tiny mini suns, right? So, what's that?
Sorry, a multifaceted personal source projection. I like it.
Something like that. You know what I mean? So that's why each one of us is seeing the sun as if like it was just meant for us, like it was pointing straight to us. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, it's speculation, but I just got this idea because I'll bet you we're not looking at the actual thing that's up there that's shining. I bet you were looking at it through all kinds of layers.
Yeah, it's a projection for sure.
Yeah.
It acts like a source projection. It looks like a source projection, right?
Yeah, I feel it's a projection also, and yeah, it's coming to. But anyways, and the other thing I wanted to talk about is that, you know, again, going back to the Vedic cosmology, my interpretation of it, they talk about like an upward vector in the in the dome that's underneath us, you know, so the subterranean, what's underneath us. So there's an upside down dome apparently, because it's like a hollow globe, right? The world. So we have the top dome above us that's spinning, and then you have this bottom dome. And so down there, it's the opposite vector. So it's everything's upward. And so these subterranean beings, they have a lot of physical power because they feel very light. It's like how animals have a lot of power, like physical power. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. But that's interesting because if you have this powerful upward vector and then you have this powerful downward vector, and it's almost like the two that are spinning in the opposite direction and have like the same power is literally like keeping us completely stationary. That it is like it's balance, you know. And again, to me, that's like proof of a creator, you know, because imagine having this perfect balance of like an upward vector, downward vector, and then you have this completely stationary plane in the middle of it. So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. And then the third thing I wanted to talk about was that one of our lovely flat earthers, I'm so sorry, I forget her handle, the name of her handle, I get all the names mixed up. But she posted a picture of a bright shining moon. I mean, it may not have been completely full, but it was almost full, like a, you know, like a very shiny moon against the black sky, a night sky. And then there was this supposed photograph of Earth from the moon that just looked like this, oh, blue oceans and white clouds. And, you know, it's like a nice sunny day on Earth, you know. And I was like, wait a second. But the sky was night, it was black. So I was like, wait a second. You know, it should, if anything, the Earth should look even shinier than the moon. Because if the moon is just reflected sunlight, think of how the gray, dull rocks and the moon dust, you know, would not reflect as efficiently as the water in our oceans, right? And it wouldn't reflect as efficiently as the clouds. Because when you think about those white clouds, think about how when we see it from here, we can see the silver lining. So think it would be shining almost like 5 times brighter than the moon. And it was against a black sky, that Earthrise, supposed Earthrise picture from the supposed moon. Anyways, so it got me thinking that they didn't really think their hoax through well enough, because Earth should have just been shining like a, you know, 5-10 times brighter than the moon, you know, just like this glistening diamond. I mean, it should have been like, you know, a tenth as bright as the sun, even, you know. So I think they got their little uh, idea of how light or sunlight is supposed to work all mixed up there. Anyways, those are the things I wanted to share with you guys. So nice to hang out with you again.
Dude, it's awesome to hear from you. We missed you.
I like all those
I
things.
know. Alan is so sweet. Alan, so sweet, he DM'd me and says, "Are you okay? I haven't seen any posts from you." I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I haven't been posting as much." But that was so sweet. And it's so caring. Thank you so much. You guys are just, oh, my little fam. You make me cry.
Yeah, I was scrolling through and I didn't see anything from you, and I was like, well, everything's shit. Where's Liliana at? Where's the good where's the good post at? That's not shit.
This is where I do the purple heart, right? Okay, I got it. There we
go.
You got it.
Or you could do the teardrop emoji if you want to be
do
sensitive and all that. Yeah. No, the one that Xavier did. The good one.
Oh, you guys are the best. Love you guys, all of you.
Liliana, I wanted to say that second thing that you were talking about, the other side or flip side of this toroid field, there's actually, I can't remember the name of the dude's YouTube channel, but he used to, it's very culty, and he was doing this thing where it was like blood over intent, and you had to sign this thing and put your blood on this paper, and they were going to go to North Pole and transcend through the center of the
Flat
North
Earth
Pole.
Paradise. I think it was Flat Earth Paradise.
Right. It was very culty. I'm like, bro, I'm not putting my blood on the internet. Sorry. It just sounds a little bit too weird. But so there are some ideas out there that the other flip side of this thing is heaven. But the other part of what you were talking about with the the pictures of the moon and that, I don't think they ever intended that there was going to be a point in time where people actually questioned what they were being fed in the narrative. I really think they thought that, whether they didn't think the internet was going to cause so much chaos and so much, community, really. But until you really first heard about Flat Earth, I don't know about you, but I didn't really question it. I didn't really give a shit. I was just trying to get through my day as best as I could. I could care less what NASA was doing, So I don't know.
Well, regarding that Earthrise picture I was talking about, if you see the picture of the moon, like the full moon against the black night sky, and then you see a picture, because I think I reposted that maybe. I'll have to check. Anyways, I'll try to tag you or whatever if I see that post again. But if you see the picture of the Earthrise supposedly from the moon, and then right next to it, an actual picture of the moon, almost full, like really bright, in the night sky for both of them, the background was ditto. And the moon was there glittering and shining like a light, like a lit up light. And Earth was like, as if you're looking at it on a sunny day. I don't know how else to describe it. So that's what got me thinking. I was like, wait a second. If the Earth is also reflecting sunlight and it's in the night sky, it should be lighting up even brighter than the moon. Because the moon is just dull gray rocks and dust or whatever,
Oh yeah, the water would be like a mirror. It would be super bright. Even the size of the Earth in like the original moon or Earthrise picture from when they supposedly landed on the moon, the size of the Earth should be gigantic in comparison to what we see the moon in the night sky. But it's almost like they just tried to invert it as if that's what you would see. And I would imagine that the Earth would be huge if you were able to actually walk on the moon. You know what I mean? So I agree. There's a whole lot of problems with what they put out, but I don't think they put it past people to be apathetic. In fact, I think they bank on it.
And since we're on this topic, what do you guys think about the weird mission to Mars? It's supposedly supposed to happen. And first establishing quote unquote moon base before they can do that.
Oh, we're going to Mars again? I love the season. What season is it? Spring?
Dude, I just got back from Mars. What's up? I brought you guys some rocks.
I noticed a little color on you, bro.
Did you catch that red dust?
I got that Martian dust.
That spice?
Yes, that's how it gets on the eclipses. I bet you people go to Mars and then bring it here from the contaminants. I bet.
No, it's just weird. There's a lot of. I wish I had my friend here, but she was talking about like a lot of. There's a lot of esoteric references for like the Apollo missions and shit like that. And you look at like all the like I wanted a huge rabbit hole at one point where I went through like all of the NASA badges. If you haven't done that, it's hella fun. There is some weird ass symbology in a lot of things, like a lot of those badges. But I would highly recommend. Yeah, I would highly recommend like looking at it, especially like the last 10 years. Like, there's a lot. I'm gonna try and pull up one. I'll post it in Discord. And maybe you could put on the Jumbo or whatever. But this one in particular.
Oh, you can actually. We have Jumbo link. You can post it yourself if you want.
Yeah, we have everything a growing space needs now. Dude, who was that dude on some David Weiss show who put all the names of the Challenger missions or whatever, not the Challenger, all the astronaut missions together? It was like something he made like if you put the letters together, it's an acronym for something absurd, like all Challengers will be destroyed. Something about something of Atlantis, the Challenger will be destroyed. All right, now I gotta go find it.
Never heard of that. Sounds really crazy.
Yeah, it's because how they named them all like Atlas to the like all like Greek names. If you just say all the names together with like a couple of prepositions, it's like, oh, you guys got me again. All right, I'm gonna go find it.
I'll have to come back to you on that one, Chief. Let's see.
We'll be good, you guys. Who's did JT have his hand up or is it me?
Dude,
I see Laley's hand up. That's it.
JT's back in the audience. Okay.
Oh wait, no, I see JT's hand up too, but he's not a speaker though.
Yeah, I gave him a mic earlier, and I think he accepted, and then he lost it. Maybe I think he's trying to get back in.
My hand shouldn't be up. I did not put it. I already did my talking.
You have a permanent hand up forever. There's nothing you can do about it.
Always willing.
That's funny because I don't see it up anymore either, as just a speaker. But I did want to say recently I listened to I believe it was Rachel Wilson is her name. She wrote a book called The Occult Influence on Feminism or something like that. But she was on the Sam Tripoli's Tinfoil Hat podcast, and it was mind-blowing to listen to.
That's a good podcast once in a while.
Yeah, this one was probably the best one I've ever heard from that group of people. Her work is so crazy, going back to, she takes it all the way back to the Garden of Eden and how they've pushed this, how feminism has transformed into now transgender. And I'm not trying to get in any of those spaces, but you guys opened up this space talking about voting and all of that. And it is crazy how much of that suffrage is involved with the feminist movement and woman's liberation. And she asked a really good question. She says, liberation from what? Like protection of a husband and liberation from having the love of children. It's really, really good. So I would recommend all of you guys checking it out. Possibly I'm going to see about ordering her book, but it was really, really good. And it paints a very good, clear picture of history and how we ended up where we are now. It was really cool. So
Yeah, her and her husband Andrew on the Crucible do really well in breaking down these topics. It's just a shame that they don't get into conspiracies much. I bet with how rational they approach things, they would see the reality of not living on an oblate spheroid. I think.
I think that guy. I know. So you said the Crucible. It's her. Or that's a couple.
yeah, I
Her
don't know
husband.
her husband's name. It sounds like Xavier does.
Yeah, Andrew Wilson. He's on Twitter as
Yeah. Okay.
Paleo ChristCon.
I know some people that have been like pestering that guy for a very long time about the topic. He doesn't like to talk about it, but I think he has caved slightly recently because of all the hype around it. And he's starting to open up a little bit to it, as far as I understand. I shouldn't speak on that topic for someone, but I think there's just a lot of pressure for a lot of these people to just finally address these topics. So who knows what we'll see.
Yeah, and to be fair, some flat earthers on Twitter are not the most persuasive. They can be they can be hounding. I think a little bit of more tact is called for when approaching these topics.
Oh yeah,
no,
the person I knew was being really polite about it, or at least persistent in a good way. But who knows what causes? I mean, I think for a lot of these people, the tide has just gotten to the point where they can't ignore it anymore.
The Overton window has definitely broke open.
Well, it does definitely make it hard when you have certain flat earthers, who are posting flat earth stuff that has truth, and then all of a sudden they're putting out lizard pictures, or lizard people stuff. Some of that can become super, I guess, discrediting to the actual flat earth movement, because the whole point of flat earth, I think, is to be based in logic and what can we know for sure. And then so when you get some of these guys that go way off into the weeds of things, it can definitely make it look ridiculous. And so I get why some people won't look at it, but then if they're honest with themselves, they should get to a point where they have to. It's kind of like what Eddie said to Alex Jones about, like, you'll figure it out, like you'll get to there one day. It's the last place you go. It seems to be the last house on the block when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like, okay, there's something weird. Like, I don't know if you guys typed in flat earth recently on YouTube, but there was this Adult Swim UK like little short called Smiling Friends that just popped out 2 weeks ago, and they're kind of taking the piss out of it, where they're just like, they're like flying towards Earth, and they're like, oh look, Earth is flat. Oh, and look, there's a glass dome over it. Oh my god, we can't tell anybody. This changes everything. And it's like a little short, like first thing you find on YouTube when you type in flat Earth. So I don't know. There's like new ways of like curating the information now, and I don't know, man. It's just like it's like round 2 of like 2014 stuff.
Oh, Smiling Friends season 2, is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, but I couldn't agree with you more, Mister. Too many times does the overlap with EGI, lizard people, Mandela effect, Q. I mean, there's too many speculation that gets overlapped with the truth community, and this happens, right? The cynical part of me says, are these agents here to discredit the movement? But I can't think like that. There's a lot of people who genuinely believe this stuff, and I think we should do what you do. You just said, stick with what you can prove for sure. Once you stay there and you can show the contradictions of the heliocentric model, that is golden. You don't have to go into any other wild conspiracies that you can't falsify, really. The triangle test is interesting, but that's not a full certified scientific test. So all that other stuff could go by the wayside when we have some things that we could experimentally prove.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. And on top of that, I would say those other things, you can drive yourself crazy with looking into, when you go too deep into some of that other stuff. And I think ultimately, what is wonderful about the best thing about flat Earth is that ultimately it's going to lead you to a deeper understanding of your role in this creation, and that you have a creator and whatever that looks like to you. And that's ultimately, I think, where the peace of mind comes from. And that other stuff will ultimately, I think, take you away from that. Like, sure, okay, there might be lizard people walking around, but that's not going to make me a better person. Like, that's not going to make me treat other people better. In fact, I would become more skeptical of people. And like you said, I can't think everyone's a CIA operative or whatever, which there's probably plenty of them out there. When you learn about hip hop being a psyop and all this other stuff, it's like, okay, well, what do I do with this information that's going to cause me to be a better person? And I think with flat Earth, it really is the one thing where it's like, okay, I get it now. Like, this place is created. My life isn't meaningless. This place isn't a speck of dust. I'm not just a virus, and whatever purpose I give it is going to be purposeful and meaningful to me, even if it's just to me. But I think with even with the heliocentric models, I've said it a lot, they're all dead ends. They lead you to nothing, and other than to more questions. When I came on to flat Earth, it was like finally a real answer to something, at least something. So that's a
then
powerful.
then there's the other part where you got at least 3 people now that says you're a shill because you don't want to talk about the lizard people. He works for Big Lizard, you know what I mean? So
You work for
we have
Big
to work on not
Lizard.
calling him. He's one of them, and we got to
I
work
haven't
on
even
just
been accused of
dropping
that
that
yet.
shill title.
I'm not that cool that I'm not on that list yet. Dude, what have I been doing with my life? Not even a top class shill.
Hey, bro, I don't know if Big Lizard's real or not. I've seen some crazy shit about the Queen. I don't
It's
know.
real.
Yeah, it very well could be. But when I see people posting, like obvious CGI pictures of statues of lizard people from the past, I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. It just makes flat Earth look like it goes into a weird, it just makes it look a little silly. That's all.
And then you got the dragons the size of a continent. I'm like, dude, you're telling me that entire continent is a dragon? It's like, come on, man. You gotta stay with me here. Stay with reality.
I mean, hold
Science
on.
is
Dragon-sized continent, boys. Let's hear him out. Hold on.
Did you see the panda video that Alan was talking about yet? Like,
yeah,
come on.
Come on.
Yeah,
No.
I get it, because that we don't know what we don't know is what Herbal always says, and I think he's right. Some of that stuff about history has definitely been manipulated and taken away from us. It would be nice to know if there were, it seems there were giant trees. I don't know if the whole continent was a dragon or if it was just one big human being. Maybe we're just little versions of it. Who knows?
Maybe the continent was a tree. Who knows? You guys don't subscribe to continent Earth theory or
Continental tree theory?
Yeah. Plate tectonics are old news, boys.
Yeah, okay.
They're just roots growing.
It just
it's all
went
about the continental tree.
Yeah.
There's a reason that Michigan looks like a mitten, right? It's like was actually an oven mitt from Paul Bunyan.
Who's Paul Bunyan?
Ooh. I have a bunch of tales for you, man.
Is that Johnny Appleseed's grandpa or
Sorry.
something? Or what? How's that
Dude, a
work?
bunch of Michiganders just got a pitchfork and they're coming to your house now. So.
Well, you really never heard of Paul Bunyan and the Babe the Big Blue Ox?
Is it like Clifford the Big Red Dog or
Similar.
It's like I think it actually precedes cartoons. It's like old folklore about a giant lumberjack that there's all
this
sorts
is
of
some
tales
gypsy
about
tales. Nice.
him and his giant blue ox. And I think the Osable River in Michigan was formed by Babe the Big Blue Ox charging down, one day chasing a ball or something.
Dude, he knows so much about it.
Bro, Paul Bunyan is the shit, bro.
What? Is this like a
I've
children?
never-
This is like a nursery rhyme?
Steam engine.
I've never seen Alan actually successfully troll Toby like this. This is awesome.
Wait, I don't think he's trolling me.
I've never heard of Paul Bunyan.
Wait,
Dude, that is
trolling
such
me?
bullshit.
Dude, that's entirely possible. Alan went his whole life and never heard or looked into Paul Bunyan.
He's
I'm-
literally fucking related to him, dude. Like,
The only Paul Bunyan, the only story that I know about a man and a giant axe or whatever is like Johnny Appleseed, right? The guy that went around chopping down apple trees.
Something like that.
Yeah. As the story goes, he was famous for traveling all around the world, and he was like, he couldn't reach the apples or whatever, so he would just chop the trees down.
Not gonna lie, you did there was like a split second there where I was like, it is Paul Bunyan, right? Because you really never heard of Paul Bunyan, you're telling us.
Never met her.
Okay.
So like Tony Hawk or Wayne Gretzky or something.
Actually, well, it is kind of odd. How come they've never done how come there's no like Disney's Paul Bunyan or something? How come no one's taken that and marketed the crap out of it and milked it for all it's worth yet? Just turned it into corporate mush.
There's a new
They did
Adam
have a short
Sandler's Netflix
cartoon.
movie called Paul Bunyan. Is that what you're talking about, Davey?
Now there was a mini cartoon where Paul Bunyan had a race with the steam engine, right? The train versus Paul Bunyan. I don't know if any of you seen that.
What?
Yeah, bro.
I remember.
Yes, look what you're missing out on. So anyways, that's how a lot of things in Canada and Northern America, the reason they look the way they are is probably because of Paul Bunyan and Babe the Big Blue Ox.
Word.
Dude, I've learned so much tonight already.
That's crazy. So Paul Bunyan theory, huh?
Yep.
Paul Bunyan cosmologist. Oh, what's that? Oh, some dude went around, chopped up the whole landscape, dog, and his axe was playing fetch. made a river.
Dude, that's like history. You're laughing like it didn't happen, but
and then some guy from England went the wrong direction and discovered Paul Bunyan or whatever, the land that he carved out. Is that kind of how it goes?
Yep, something like that, probably. Yeah, we'll roll with it.
That Christopher Columbus was full of shit, man.
So yeah, anyways, what else is going on here? Any other hands? Anyone else have anything they wanted to talk about tonight?
Dude, are there any hot new arguments on the timeline from the globularist or what?
well, so somebody just said that electrogravity is stupid because we can't derive 9.8 meters a second squared without invoking the mass of the Earth, and
What?
we do have a nice paper that just nicely actually converts that, and then using that, we would do the same thing to convert it to like Coulomb's law, and then compares it to like Coulomb's electrostatic law, which does equate the same thing. Not even deriving Coulomb's constant, which is different, right? But it's approximately the same. It's like 8.7 whatever, and it's like, That's unrelated. That's different.
So it turns out can derive and do it inherently. All right. Very nice.
Where'd piezo go? You talk about Planck's length, right? Short of
Yeah.
the wavelength of a photon, but then use that to express the smallest increment of electromagnetic energy density, which would then be expressed within the gravitational constant of big G with the other constants.
Ooh.
And then you get some, assuming you're playing the particle game, you get like particle respective mass density, and that's what you're using it on, and then you can still derive 9.8. So to that dude who's definitely not listening to anything we say here, but to other people who are like, I can't do gravity, just be like, yeah, it can, and you're stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, it turns out you can math anything. Huh.
Yeah, you can. And people who frequently bleed about math are like the first to cower when anybody brings real math, just so everybody knows. They're like, math. And I'm like, here's some trick. They're like,
Shane, have you ever lost a math fight? Or are you undefeated as a mathlete?
dude, some professor of calculus literally challenged me to a math fight today on Twitter. He was like, drop your glove now. We will commence. The duel has begun. You gotta forfeit.
Nice.
Get out your TI-83. Let's go.
I was like, sorry, I've never been in a real math fight. I didn't know this was the rule.
Nice. How did it go? Did you guys show your work or?
Yeah, dude, like, dude, why would you ever get into a public math fight? How big of an ego, like, wag stroker do you need it to be for yourself?
You got to get into a little math tussle.
The best that I've done.
Public math tussle.
But this dude was literally like math offs were a real thing, right? Like he dropped the glove, like he had expressed the formal decree, and I'm supposed to recognize that. And then the dude in the chat was like, "Shane will beat you in any math fight." I was like, "Bro, calm down. I don't know who this guy is." Like, it's all right.
That's hilarious, man.
Like, and then he's like, "Oh, he's a professor of calculus." I'm like, "Yeah, my calculus isn't too good, man." Like I can do it, but you want to do a math fight with a professor of calculus on calculus? Nah.
Do it. Just take some derivatives, dog. You'll be all right.
Someone will describe for me the practical use of a third degree derivative. I'll do it, but it has to be in a 2-page paper.
You just really need to know that rate of change.
Someone will describe the usefulness of it in like words. You see, when you math off people, it makes the globe stupid.
So wait, was he publicly masturbating or what?
No, I think he went away because I think I accepted because I didn't know the rules, right?
Oh, he just flashed you his math and left. he's a mather. He just flashes a couple equations and dips. Nice.
Nice.
But it's like the first observation is like, look at Shane cherry picks observations, and it's like,
All
oh,
right.
let me bring you to this slide.
I see a hand just went up from JT. I'm giving him a mic, and you're taking it, JT. You take that mic. I seen that hand. Liliana, dude. Now that's a hand, Liliana. Did you just request a hand? Pretty sure
she got a mic. Send her 7 mics.
No, those are the 2 that have been bugged with their hands up.
No, it was gone. It just it popped up. Oh wait, yeah, it was me. Never mind. Yeah, it's me. I just realized it did it again when I came out of the thing when I was giving Mike when I was forcing it. I see
you looking at it.
Yeah,
and mine isn't moving.
Yeah, it's me. The issue's me, boys.
Oh, hold on. We have a Glober who I was just fighting with about and making fun of. Let's bring him up here.
Ooh, little glob off.
Shakespeare with his looks like wave emoticons and his 13K Twitter followers. Hello, bud.
Dude, we got Lynn Fox down there. I recognize the avatar. We're supposed to give her a mic as well.
To be fair, he came with all the basic surface level stuff. So he was like, stars. And then, circumnavigation. I was like, oh, have you met me?
No, have you met me?
Well, come on, Sir Global. We'll be nice. Everyone's cool here. We're just chilling. Honestly, flat Earth is the stupidest thing you've ever seen. It's the easiest thing to debunk. Just come show us how dumb we are.
Well, I mean, have you heard of time zones?
I mean,
Are you aware?
Trap?
Wait a minute. Wait. Have you heard of night and day?
Dude, sunsets. You got us all day. Come on.
Have you met my friend Sunset and Sunrise?
I don't want to spend all the time goading you up here. You are the only global listener, but appreciate you participating in the comments. Then fist bump, bro.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to your boy.
Yo, you ever just like need to get in touch with your other whale buddies that are like 10,000? They're like 10,000 miles away, and but they're around the globe, and you're like, how am I gonna reach them? And then you're like, oh, there's that salt gradient. So you just like kind of shoot your little whale. You shoot your big whale.
Your whale horn
frequency vibrations out there. You just kind of shoot them out there into the salt gradient, and then you just let the salt gradient carry them all the way around the globe 10,000 miles for you to your whale buddies.
Well, you know,
good thing that I know about the salt gradient inherently.
You know what's really interesting about that preposition, Toby, is that think of the evolution of the whale, right? There was like these, you know how everything starts with like a small mutation that gets bred into, more useful meaningfulness, right? So they like there was a bunch of whales that hadn't quite figured out the salt gradient, right? And then also there were whales that didn't even have like ears or whatever they have to hear the salt, or I mean to hear the sound underwater, to feel that vibration, right? So the only ones that made it, right? Think of how lucky we are that out of all the whales, like only the glob whales, the ones that figured out that they live on a globe and we're taking Polaris angle corrections to use the salt gradient relative to their latitude. And then obviously
smart whales,
dude.
It's crazy, man. It's just like laser tests. You go to measure the curvature of the Earth and it looks flat, and then you find out, oh, dummy, you didn't know the refractive rate perfectly curves around a globe, and it doesn't matter if it looks flat. It did refract around the globe 14 out of 14 times. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the whales. You stupid whales. You thought you were just shooting a vibration out there to your buddy down a couple seas over, but no. You were shooting it around a globe, and it was perfectly refracting with the salt gradient to go hit your little buddy over there. Or your big buddy over there.
Joke's on you, stupid whale, right?
Yep. You stupid flat whaler.
Dude, all the whales figured it out 35 billion years ago that it's a globe.
I forgot about that.
You guys are retarded. Only globe whales survived. They've known it's a globe. They've always known it's a globe.
That's how they survive.
And they can
arc in there.
And they can only communicate on a globe. The fact that a whale fucking lives in the water means that that water is curved.
Wow. So dude, there you go.
I love talking about refraction as if like no one knows what the definition is, because they don't. And then you're like, oh, who's Gauss? And you're like, don't worry about it. It's got a refraction coefficient. It's currently 0.13, right? Referencing a radius of the Earth of 6,370 kilometers, right? Because they say that refraction literally follows the radius of the Earth. Anyway, it's got defined by a ratio K equals big R over little r. So they're literally invoking the radius of the Earth to tell you the rate at which light curves, and it's unrelated. I'm like, okay.
Yes. The old optical equivalence to the curvature of the ground, or to the alleged curvature of the ground beneath you.
We lost our globe challenger. Did I come on too strong? What do you guys think? Did it smell like a trap when I was like,
it was all
come tell us how dumb we are?
It was all the goading, the lack of fear.
The complete lack of like, come on, bud.
The open invitation, the general curiosity of what he would have to say, all that kind of stuff.
Maybe we should pursue him, try to convert him. He seems like he knew a lot, but then he backed out real quick. Oh, and he reposted our space though.
Nice.
So that's
whoa,
cool.
Well, what kind of
Did
verbiage?
you just
Absolutely
convert him?
no context, just straight up repost. Yeah.
Did you just convert him on the spot? Maybe he's a flurfer now.
Have
He
you
was
guys
like,
oh, sorry.
You're good,
"Go ahead, man."
Birdie.
I was going to ask if you guys have ever encountered or talked with, I think his name's Australius Piper or Piper Australius. I ended up having to block the dude because he would not stop. But
Yeah, he got blocked immediately on Twitter. It didn't take long at all for that dude to be like, "Oh, you're literally worthless." Okay.
bro, yeah, he was going off about Southern Star Trails, and I sent him an arsenal of stuff. And yeah, because he was listening into one of Nick Cage's spaces while Flat Earth Fridays was out for the few weeks, and it was while I was talking to a dude about, just imagine the possibility that Polaris doesn't move, and that everything circles around it, and he took it and ran with it for like 2 weeks, and I entertained it for about a week and a half, and then I saw that he had like 7 posts towards me, and I was like, dude, enough, you're done.
Yeah, like if a grown man responds to my online thing like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, oof, bro, we're not gonna like that's too much. You don't need to do that.
Well, and even coming after me after listening anonymously in a space for one thing that I had said, like, I'm in a flat earth space, like, what I'm here representing, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, wait, didn't we make a oh no, I did. I made a Sky Optics. Oh no, I copied Alan made it. Alan made a Sky Optics playlist of all the stuff because people are like, no one ever talks about it. And it's like, well, no, we talk about it constantly. Constantly so that people are sick of it. We talk about it all the time. What do you mean? And it's like, oh well, I'll just share this list then. I'll just put that in the space. And
All the time.
All the time. No, dude.
Hilarious.
I've never talked to Shane.
Yeah,
He's like, "Did you know Thing in the Sky?"
A few
I'm like,
things
"Ah,
that you
fuck."
had posted about it, and I sent it directly to him, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think those guys at Ether Cosmology would give me any better answer than you did." And I said, "Well, here you go," and still he just holding on. I even sent him the videos of the Australian dude explaining how the stars work in Australia to another Australian dude. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you think you were gonna ride that Australian cohesion?
But I'm not here to battle people. I quite literally got this app just so I could listen to Flat Earth Fridays and talk to you guys. Like,
you could do a little battling inside.
Probably the best use of the app.
yeah, but when you get to the point where it's just like, you get like that. I mean, I just ended up giving him a thumbs up for everything that he said.
Yeah, no, Australius is a worthless. He's not even a human. But what do you want to bet, Mr. Can't Hear Alan?
Yeah, there's no way. I figured it out a couple sentences ago.
Yep, confirmed.
That makes sense.
All right, boys.
I'll drop down, bro.
All right, better you than me, brother.
Alan said he wants you to do it right now.
I didn't say I didn't give orders or anything, but you are on a time schedule, and if you don't do it fast enough, you will be judged silently. It will reflect on your permanent record.
People are like, no judgment, and I'm like, well, no, actually, I'm judging everyone all the time. So I don't know if that's just me.
Kind of like Santa Claus.
Well, it's more like a prejudgment, right? Like, because my mentality currently is everyone's retarded, and the people who aren't retarded will prove that they're not retarded immediately, and then you can make friends, right? But if you just assume that everyone's below that level, then you're not just like you're most commonly not disappointed, you're not depressed, you're not constantly met with people who you're like way below a threshold that you said just a little too high. You know what I mean?
I'm listening.
It just makes for a happier, efficient time. You're like, oh, why is everyone retarded? You're like, oh, that guy, he gave me what I wanted. Wow. What an interesting, privileged experience that was that one time. Oh, dude, now we got Sir Flurfdom in the crowd. I think he might have been pulled in by help. Did
Oh,
our little
nice.
friend
Dude, was
hit a
the
lifeline button,
retweet
or-
an SOS or?
Didn't Sir Flurfdom get offered like co-host in Flat Earth Friday, and we spent like 10 minutes asking you to come up, and you ran away like quicker
No,
than
that
the
was
Flurf?
that was Flurf Herder.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys.
I think
literally no difference.
I think
to
that's
me.
a different Flurf.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It literally doesn't matter though.
Yeah, dude, don't get your Flurf or people confused, dude. Respect them and
I'll try
them.
and attribute more brain space to differentiating the useless internet trolls who just circle around us like vultures. They try to engagement mine every time we post anything. I'll try to keep them straight. My bad.
Yeah.
Hey, you know how the most interesting stories are the ones, well, not the most interesting, but often interesting stories have like a villain, right? And so if the villain's interesting and clever, it makes the story more interesting. So
Yes.
in the same way, we're always looking for our little flirts here to come and make the story more interesting, but we don't get good quality villains. That's the tragedy. We get all this trash villains.
Like
Dude,
cable TV, like
get-
series villains, you
we
know,
get-
like
we get that Stephanie Meyer's Twilight vampire villain, right? It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, now you're
why are you sparkly?
like we'll be at a space ready for like quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement, and instantaneous action at a distance to the bathroom and integrated ether test, and they're like, "Listen, guys, I got you." Sunsets, and we're like, "Oh."
We need the worthy villains, worthy opponents.
Yeah, how about anyone who can present evidence of any sort that the Earth is in motion around the sun will instantly win a prize? What do you guys think? Like a Nobel Peace Prize?
A Nobel Prize, if you will.
It's like, yeah, but if you look up at the sky and just misinterpret aggressively what you see, then you can obviously prove the Earth is moving. Exclusively,
Well,
right,
we
guys?
got this triangle, see? And if we only look at it from one side, then that means Earth move.
If we close our other eye and squint. Yeah, dude, this...
Of course, you can invert the triangle and say the inverse mechanism would be the sky is rotating, Earth is stationary, but as long as you don't tell anyone that, right, you can maintain mutual exclusivity.
Yeah, they all bounce.
Yeah, nice. Well, you know what they say.
I was trying to goad them to come talk to us. I think they just come in to be like, "Oh no, they're all here. We should go. This isn't what I thought it was." Like we're gonna be self-secluded in little packs, ready to be preyed upon or something over here. Like, oh, I wasn't ready for this.
Dude, they're like, we got to create a damsel in distress. Okay, Liliana, this is what I want you to do. Start a new space called new to Flat Earth. I have a few questions. Please help.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
And we'll just see what happens from there.
We're not gonna
Oh my
dangle
God,
you
that's
as
a
bait,
great idea.
but we might be dangling you as bait.
I just can't seem to figure out this whole sunset thing. It's dark over here, it's light over here. I don't know. Like, just do one of those bits and then they'll come in, like vultures ready to eat.
And then what? We'll all be hiding in the wings or come in
Yeah.
at once or what? What are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, something like that, I guess.
Like, they're gonna see we're in there, so they're gonna come in. So
No, we just stay out, and Liliana's got this, dude. She's been watching.
Right, we'll leave her
and
alone
listening
for a while.
She's
Yep,
good. She's got
we'll
it.
leave her alone. Well, that does not feel right. I want to be in there telling people to shut the hell up. Leave her alone.
Darn, my emojis are not working. That's so weird.
I see your laughy face. So you're not laughing?
Well, I couldn't see it. You saw it?
She's like, that's the button I pressed, but
I don't see anything, but you saw it, so I guess it's working.
So check this out. It did your emoji, and then it went back to a hand raise. For me.
yeah, it's your hand is permanently up. We just accepted that. So
Oh yeah, my hand is not up. It's all wacky tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tonight. Just tonight it's wacky. It's usually solid every other night. So oh, we lost all our Globers. Man, it was good having a nice little back and forth in the comments. I think when you're like mocking someone and the little purple thing around your thing is like, oh, I'm actually side tasking you as a mock. I'm actually running a space right now. They're like, I'm gonna go check the space out, I think is what happened. Side mocking is fun. That's why we have memes. And also pre-made memes, pre-made lists. We have a published database on everything you could ever ask me. So it's fun. Flirts don't bring sources. I know we're not following the first law of flirtdom. Hold on.
Yo, if I send you my database, could you copy paste it into yours or have like a subsection or something?
Yeah.
Would that work?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, indubitably. Okay, cool.
And I already have the second page published with like a half full roster. So ready to go.
Cool. Well, I'll send you some stuff later then. And then that way it'll all be on there. So like the presentations with notes and stuff.
Yep.
Nice.
Just no big videos because the whole thing is 4 gigs.
Ooh, here's the thing. I started storing all my videos in there exclusively because Stone was like, take control of your media or you're a pussy. And I was like,
No way.
I was like, well, I don't want to be a media pussy. So I started putting it all in my
Oh, you got stoned.
Yeah, now it's a big Obsidian file. Yeah.
So that can't be published like ever.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I had to go through and remove like all the things that even the bigger gifts that I had were like 20 megs, so 30 megs. So it was like I had to remove those.
You guys want to any other final thoughts or anything? I don't want to make everyone listen to
sorry, no one else thinks that's as cool as we do.
Yeah. Went into a little side tangent there. But yeah, we could wrap.
Cool. Unless anyone has any final thoughts?
Unless our pal, he, him, Kit, Marlo Shakespeare wants to come off the chat now. Are we going to be friends? I think we're going to be friends, but.
No? They don't want to come or they do?
Both.
Superposition. All right. Well, cool then. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Speaking of wrapping things up, do you know where I can get some wrapped up, freshly grilled coffee?
Why, yes. I'm so glad you asked. You can go to brushtail.coffee. Did you know, fun fact, there are 3 types of brushtail penguins, the Gentoo, the Adelie, and the chinstrap. And 2 of these 3 types of penguins are some of the only species of penguins that live on quote-unquote continental Antarctica or the ice wall or around the ice wall. So, yeah, there you go. That is what Brushtail Coffee is named after. So anyways, that's my coffee company. I roasted on a little grill, or actually an average sized Weber grill.
It's a perfectly sized grill. Don't judge.
It's perfectly fine. Okay. And it's all roasted to order. It has, it's shipped usually within 24 hours of when it's roasted. So, and it's good coffee. I roast it because I love it. So if you want good coffee and you want it roasted by someone instead of a company that you don't know everybody and you don't know where it's coming from, I source good, high quality beans that are, a good portion of them are organic. Or if you want to know which ones specifically are organic, you can ask, but they're all high quality. Some of them are dry natural process. Some of them are washed process, but I don't buy poo-poo beans. So there you go.
Yeah. And fun fact for the coffee lads out there. Now, legal disclaimer, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that if you get coffee from the store, it actually contains large traces amounts of diarrhea in it. So if you want some diarrhea coffee, then get it from the store. If you want good coffee, get it from Toby at brushtail.coffee.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Alan.
It's a legitimate smear campaign. We approve of that. We approve of this message.
Well, cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and close out. Thank you for everyone for listening in. If you are listening in, I guess no one was listening in on AlanSpaceAudits tonight. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of technical issues, but this may be mirrored over there, maybe not.
I fixed it. We're live.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay. Well, great. So then, yeah, I'm sure that some of us will be around tomorrow night if there is a Flat Earth Fridays. So you may want to check some people out for that. And then next Monday, we always do reading nights over on the Discord server, and we always live stream that. So check that out. Next Monday, I really want to read another LIGO paper about just another analysis. But then also we may read some more ARP, or we'll see what's up. And then Tuesday nights presentations. I believe Shane is going to present next Tuesday, or I don't know. I guess next Tuesday you're going to do comets, right? Or meteors? Sorry.
Comets, meteors, meteorites. Yep.
There you go. So that's going to be next Tuesday. And then, so check that out. And then next Thursday, we'll do another one of these. So if you want specific times, it's 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday for reading, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday for the presentation, and then 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursday for these X Twitter spaces. So check that all out. And thanks for being here, everybody. Take good care of yourselves. And adios.
Hey, love you guys, all of you.
Much love, Laylee. Thank you so much for being here and for all of the encouragement. It means a lot.